I'm making this video because I got a DM on Instagram not long ago that surprised me, because someone was messaging me saying, hey, I saw your YouTube video, and a part of me has forgotten that there are videos of me online when I was a student talking about how to get into fashion school, what it's like being a fashion student, and all of that feels so far away. And I'm making this video as a follow-up video because I think I would have loved to see this video when I was in my second or third year, just for a little bit of perspective on what life after graduating can look like as a young professional. Because what city do you have to be in? Do you have to be in Joburg? Do you have to be in Cape Town? Do you have to be in Durban for the type of job you're looking for? And what is the type of job? What options are there for a young person with a fashion degree wanting to get their foot through the door? So we're going to talk about it. I do have to, this video will be a bit biased because I can't really speak too much on corporate, working for Woolworths or Truworths. I do know that has worked for a lot of people, but I can't give specific advice on how to get a job like that. So I will be speaking more about freelancing, what you can do, submitting work, what you can do, assisting designers, how to reach out, what cities you should consider being in. So it's very much based on what has happened for me after graduating and my experience. But I hope it helps you in some way and broadens your horizons to understand that there are so many different types of things you can do in this industry and so many different areas you can focus your attention in. Cool. The one question I always used to get when I was making these videos, and the DM, this person who's messaged me, asked the same thing. They're saying, I don't know how to sew, I don't know how to sketch, I don't know how to draw patterns, but I really want to study fashion. Am I screwed? And the answer is that no, you're not screwed. I applied for fashion not knowing how to do any of those things. I was not really good at drawing. I did not take art or design in high school. I took history, geography, music, and then your maths, English, all of that. But I did not have any design focus in my high school, so no, it is not needed. I went to FEDISA though, so I don't know what the other schools require. If you want to study fashion, you don't have to be intimidated by not having the skills yet, because you're going to school to learn. So I went to FEDISA, that was a 3-year design degree. And there are different options. I don't know if it's changed, but I just remember there being 2 main options. You can do BA in fashion design, which is what I did. And the other option was a diploma. And those students focused a little bit more on like fashion writing, journalism. So it was very media focused, like a media communications degree. They did have some brand elements, but it was from like a branding and visual merchandising, from what I understand, point of view. So those were the 2 options we had at FEDISA. I focused on design, and in the design degree, you learn how to sketch, how to do fashion illustrations, 9-head figures, how to research for a collection, doing technical drawings, how your technical drawing then becomes a pattern, all of those things. But after graduating, I had a few options, and I chose one, and I'm still working for that company. So back to a few options, and this is what I'm going to hammer home, and I hope that it helps you, is I tried to grab every single opportunity I could when I was still a student. Essentially how I got my job, and I got this job in my second year, was I had post notifications on for designers I liked, because I wanted to know everything that was happening, where they were showing, see the new campaigns. I just wanted to be alert and feed myself as much information as I could, because I know a lot about the South African industry now, but before, like when I was in high school, I didn't really know what was happening in our country. And I felt this weird detachment to fashion, in the sense that even when I was studying, people would ask you, like people like asking who's your favorite brand, or like who inspires you. And I never really felt that I had a solid, concrete answer to that, because I personally ended up in fashion in a unsuspecting way. Like it wasn't always, I liked fashion, I cared about fashion, that's why I ended up studying fashion, but it wasn't like this thing where I was it was all I spoke about, and I was watching all the shows and watching all the things. So I felt very detached and a bit clueless on what was happening in the industry. Like, of course, there are brands that I like and people I respect, but even in those people, like, I can't go on a Margiela, who knows the most, riff off with anyone, because I just wasn't engaging with fashion in that way at all. So, and that's on an international scale, so locally I felt even more lost. So when I started studying fashion, I put on post notifications for a bunch of different brands I like, and the only South African designer that I really knew or whose work I was following was Tebe Magugu at the time, and that was also coming off him winning the LVMH prize. I think that was in 2019, and I started studying I was a matric in 2019, so I started studying in 2021 because I took a year off. So cool, Tebe, post notifications are on, so I can see what's happening, campaigns, just be in touch, feel like I'm connected to the industry in some way. Another publication that I really liked was Twig magazine, and I also had post notifications on from them, just because sustainable fashion was my focus and maybe what led me to even working in this industry. So because I had these post notifications on and I'm trying to like stay in the loop and calibrate myself into what's happening in this industry, Twig then posts a story, I get the notification, I click on it, and it's a listicle. It's a listicle of like 5 sustainable, I can't remember the headline exactly, but same vein as 5 sustainable designers you need to be following, you need to know what's happening, this is what they're doing. And on that listicle, Tebe Magugu, next brand, next brand, next brand, Vivia's. I'd never heard of Vivia before, so I go on Instagram and I make sure that I'm following all of these brands on the listicle and do the same thing that I was doing, post notifications on for everyone. So now I'm spending the whole first year of my studies seeing what different designers are doing, because I'm getting the notifications, oh, a new campaign, oh, a new collection, oh, this, oh, that. Great. I'm starting to feel like I understand what is happening locally, and I can speak to it, and it's inspiring and it's exciting. Fast forward to my second year, because I have post notifications on for everyone, Vivia happened to put up an Instagram story saying, looking for assistants backstage to dress for our show. And I'm like, because I have notifications, I see this instantly. Like the story is probably up for 30 seconds and I see it and I respond. Great. Couple days pass, get a response. Hi, Table, thank you so much for volunteering. These are the dates. Can you come to the studio for a recce so we can brief you? And I say yes. So I go there, beautiful space, a little bit intimidating, meet this lovely woman who shows me the whole space, tells me what I'm gonna need to do on the day at the fashion show, little briefing, all is fine, nothing too hectic. Then the day of the show, I come there prepared. My only job is to be a volunteer, make sure everyone has, like the team has what they need, and then to dress backstage. And it was quite a fun show to dress for because the studio had just moved. So the studio used to operate from the designer's house, and she was doing her first show in her new studio, Glass House, for her, it was autumn winter 2022 motherboard. So that was kind of launching the new studio space, inviting people to the space. So it was new for the team as well, and I was assisting there, dressing backstage, just being very easy and very attentive and reading the room. I'm going to pause on those notes that I just said now, being very easy, being attentive and reading the room. If you have the opportunity to jump in and assist somewhere, dress however you want in like your cool, comfortable way, and a nice flat shoe. I've been wearing school shoes lately. That's comfortable for me and I'm able to work in them. I think a lot of people think about working in fashion in this Devil Wears Prada, Andy Sachs way, which, I mean, I like dressing up sometimes too, but you're only able to do that once you are routine in your work and have a schedule. And it's like, oh, I only have meetings today and I'm only seeing clients today, so I actually can wear my little boot. But tomorrow we are striking down an art fair. I'm not going to wear my little boot. But because you're an assistant, you don't know what you're going to be given. Don't wear the little boot, because it is not the Andy Sachs, oh, I'm wearing and people want me to look like this and comfort, so that you're easy. And speaking on, I also once had was assisting on a set, and I had acrylics, and I will not touch acrylics ever again, because I can't do my job with acrylics. When I do my nails, it's short gel. So it's very funny to think that a lot of the things that people think of, like, oh, like fashion girl, it's like, don't do that. It's impractical. You want to show up comfortably to work, practically to work, because there's so much stuff you have to do with your hands and you're on your feet for long hours. You don't want to be in a little boot. That was a tangent, but it's an important one because I see it a lot. But anyway, I arrived there, I was comfortable, I was in Converse, I was ready to go, Show is a success, beautiful day, we're all very happy, met amazing peers, had a fun day. I then got a message the show happened on Saturday, and on Monday morning, I got a message saying, hi, Table, thank you so much. You were so amazing on Saturday. We're actually looking for someone to help us with our social media. Are you available to help? To which I said yes. And I explained that I'm still a student, so I can only commit to these days and these times, That is how I got my job. That was it was May of 2022 that I got the social media job and was doing that. But I have now grown quite quickly in my position, where May 2022, they brought me in for social media, but now I am leading like our department upstairs, which means I'm leading communications, I'm leading press releases. I do VM, visual merchandising and styling, and both last year and this year I had the opportunity to project manage exhibitions we did for Invest Cape Town Art Fair. I've done production for other smaller exhibitions, one we did in the Karoo last year in July, and we'll repeat that exhibition again in July. So my role has grown. I've made prints, I've cut music, I've produced, I've called shows, it's grown. And no one's gonna like grab your hand and say, wow, I heard that at Fadisa, they teach you how to do this. Please can you do this for us? People will ask you to steam stuff, and you happily steam it, and you make sure things are nice. And if you only want to steam, then you just steam quietly. But if over time you're steaming and you see that there are problems that can be solved, then volunteer what you know to try and collaboratively, under someone's guidance, solve that problem. And from doing that is how, honestly, my role has expanded as quickly as it has. My school required me to intern, but because I had a job, they were saying that it's unfair to intern at my job, which was the arrangement I had with my boss, where I was going to do my job for half the day and then intern with the production team downstairs for the other half of the day. But they said, they basically told me that, no, go find an internship so that you go through the same experience of like looking and pleading and begging. It was very annoying at the time, but I'm very grateful that that was the answer they gave me, because I really did have to beg. So now we're going to talk about non-annoying persistence. And I really hope I was not annoying, but I think I was annoying to some people. But I think it's also okay. You're a young, hungry person, and I think it's good to be young and hungry, and I'm still young and hungry. But now, because they said I couldn't do my school internship with the brand I was working for, I had to look. So there's some people I had met, through my job, that I was like, okay, let me reach out to so-and-so. But so-and-so was not responding, which was very heartbreaking because I really wanted to assist her. She's an awesome stylist. So then I started going to other designers and thinking, like what other studios I can go to. I think I emailed Tebe's team probably 10 times, no response. Then I emailed Lucanio Ndingi's team so many times to the point, I think after email 5, I got a response from their team saying, "Hi Tebo, we've received your CV, you just don't have capacity right now, good luck." But at least that's something, you just need an answer. But yeah, I just kept emailing because I wasn't getting responses. And then I decided to go back to the stylist route. So then I WhatsApp the stylist, then I email her and just do like a introduction to give context again. I'm pretty sure I DM'd her, but like I literally used every way I could access her appropriately to message her. And after doing all of these things, she then finally responded to me on WhatsApp. So I think she was seeing these in all these different places. Then she came back to WhatsApp and said, "Yes, you can come intern." And then she explained because she's a stylist, she just worked from her house. So I'd just come to her house and watch her do what she does, which was cool. So that was the internship I ended up doing. And it was such an incredible experience because it was nice to also see, having the contrast from being in a studio environment, 9 to 5, that is very structured and you have to be there every day, to having someone being as established as they are, work from the comfort of their own home, do their little recons, plan their calendar, this job, okay, I'm going to Cape Town next week. Will you come to Cape Town with me? Cool, give me your ID, let's book a flight, you'll assist me on that job. Oh, we will have another job in Soweto on this and this date. Like just running her own life. It was a very interesting and cool side to see in fashion that that's what freelancing looks like. And it takes a certain type of diligence that I respect so much to be able to plan your life in that way, make sure you book for the season, to also be able to afford and sustain your life. Because you're not getting a salary that's gonna, salary, rent is paid, It's getting all of these jobs, making sure that your life is in order, making sure that your calendar is in order, doing all of your recons and your accounting. Like that takes a different type of person, but that's also an option and something that works. So it was an awesome opportunity to observe that and see how much, she covers in a month, like how many jobs we did just in that time. And that takes a lot of work. I'm not saying this to say that you'll necessarily graduate now and you're like, cool, I'm a freelancer, I'm just gonna book a bunch of jobs. But what you can do is say, okay, cool, I want to assist stylists, and do that same persistent thing where it's like, please can I assist you, please can I assist you, please can I assist you, asking all these different people, so that you as an assistant and a young person book your season, understand I'm assisting this person, so that you start being known in the industry as a really good assistant and can eventually decide that, okay, you're styling now, and you have something to work off of, and you have experience and you're trusted and you've met people and you know people. So that is a way to go, which is not what I ended up doing, but it's very cool. And maybe I'm a little bit jealous of people who have gone that route. Have that flexibility of, okay, I'm doing my recons, I'm moodboarding now, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna go for a wax now, and then you go for your little wax appointment, and then you come back, you're like, I'm gonna, and it's like, okay, going for a coffee now, oh, let's drive to this place. Just like you have control of your day, and you're working, and it's fun, and you're listening to Radiohead in your apartment, and just in your own space and being creative in a space that is yours. How nice. Okay. But that was a lovely learning opportunity. Nice to also just meet people who are doing like prop design and set design and because all of these need to work together to image create, right? It's not just working in fashion. You might maybe even as a student be feeling now that you're like, I love this industry. I love paging through, days. I love looking at this image that's created. But you might feel that like, I don't really like sewing, I don't really like pattern development, I don't really like putting garments together or even styling, but I care so much about this image. If that is you, I'm here to tell you that maybe you are a set designer. Maybe you are a fashion photographer. There's so many different people that need to come together to create this image. And that internship was also amazing because I remember for the one job we were booked for, at the end of that job, there were 4 main images taken for that job. Okay, like 4 little scenes. And at the end of the job, everyone comes for a team photo and it's like 50 people standing here. It's not just photographer, art director and stylist, set designer. It's assistants, it's the people who are building the set, it's the managers of those people, it's the client and everyone checking that the shoot is going in accordance to the brief. It's producers, it's 50 people. So there's so many different ways you can contribute to that image that you're saying, wow, this is exciting. So I hope that is helpful. But yeah, that internship was an amazing experience. I then graduated and I had a few things that I could consider. It's been 4 years of shifting. So 2 years part-time, now I'm in my 2nd or 3rd full-time year, and I've learned a lot. I've had incredible opportunities to learn a bunch of different things of what, building a brand even requires, and it's such a privilege to learn that under someone else's guidance and like support their vision and what they're trying to do, because then it's making the possibility of when I want to do this for myself and I feel like I've bundled all of the resources I need and the experience I need, that it's not, we won't know till we get there, but it's not going to be super scary because I'm like building this experience, contributing in this way. It's very personally helpful and beneficial to me. I think talking about my personal history and like studying, getting a job while I was studying, and now still being at that same job has given a bit of insight, because I thought I was going to break this video down into like question, answer, but I feel like I've answered most of what I wanted to touch based on just through telling that story, funny enough. But I want to jump back into and emphasize what type of jobs you can get in this country. So we spoke about styling and freelancing and how that was interesting to observe, and it's an option, and assisting stylists is great. Just because assisting a stylist, because they get so many different types of jobs, it's a great way to understand how the different aspects of this industry work, because I'm sure whoever you will be assisting, if you are assisting them for their whole season, you will see that they'll get super inspiring jobs that just make them beam, and they have full range to do whatever they want. And that's an amazing opportunity for you, because you can assist and contribute and see like an image being created. But if you want to book yourself the full season, the stylist you are assisting might get a very commercial job as well. Like the most commercial a commercial can be, but like Heineken, okay? You're assisting someone on a Heineken ad, and it's like, for a Heineken ad, it's just, you have the guy he's at the bar with his friends and he has a K-way puffer on and like a short and a flip-flop. You get to see both sides of that coin of what it looks like to do something like that. But that's styling, that's one round. What do you do if you want to work in corporate? And that is where living in Cape Town's to your benefit. So if you want to work for Woolworths, if you want to work for Cape Union Mart, Cape Union Mart is like Poetry, Keto, all of those brands. If you want to work for Polo, all of those buying opportunities, I also used to see a lot of like opportunities to like be a graphic designer for kids wear. Those opportunities are in Cape Town. So if you are studying in Cape Town, that is definitely something you can consider for your internship period now already. And working for brands like that, I did not go that direction, but I've heard there's a lot of people that enjoy it, and you'll get more standard benefits because in a way it's corporate. But I also know people who say that they've struggled with it, just because maybe they want to be more creative. So it really depends what it is that you want to do and what your goal is for the first. I also like to think of me personally, my career in little phases, because I think people always think, they're like, oh, I want to be a lawyer. And it's like, if the median age of retirement is 65, do you mean you want to be a lawyer for 40 years? Which, that's okay. But I just think as people, you go through seasons. So it's also nice to think of my personal belief, your career as a season. Where it's, if your priority after you graduate is that you want to live in Cape Town, which is becoming one of the most expensive cities, I'm sure, soon in the world. You want to live in Cape Town and you want to have this and that, then that means that your priority is making a lot of money, and then you can go be a buyer. If for the first season that's your priority, and then you might decide the second season of your career, maybe when you're 35, you want to be a little bit more creative, and then you've learned all of this lovely stuff and you go, okay, I'm going to start freelance styling, or I want to offer my services as a producer, or I want to do this and that can be the next season of your career. I think that's a nice way to look at it. Or if you are very interested in like developing your skills quickly, because the one thing about corporate jobs is because they're so big, roles are also divided into smaller things. So if you're a buyer, you're a buyer, and you're a buyer, you're already a buyer, which is nice for a lot of people because you might have a more routine day. But in another sense, it doesn't create a lot of opportunities for quick career growth, because if you're an intern buyer, you're an intern buyer, and you're an intern buyer for as long as your contract says you're an intern buyer. But if you work for a younger brand that has a smaller team but still needs to pull off a show at Milan Fashion Week, then comes the opportunity to say, okay, well, let me help with writing the press release, or can you help with this, can you help with that, can you help with this? And all of a sudden, you're the second year student, and now you've been here for 4 years and you've project managed a showroom. Which something like that would not happen in corporate, because you have all of these things that need to happen and so many people that make it happen. It's a good question to ask yourself after you graduate. What is your main priority? Is it to get as much experience as possible? Is it to have some stability first and creativity comes later? Is it to still figure out where you're landing? And that's where freelancing or assisting a stylist becomes nice, because you get to see sets being built, and maybe that teaches you that, oh, you actually want to be a set designer. So it's just a good question to ask. What exactly are you hoping to get out of your first working years? And that'll help you understand where to position yourself. If you want to work for a designer, then Joburg is the city to be. Johannesburg's where I'm based, and I feel like a lot of brands are in Johannesburg. Cape Town does have its fashion industry, but it feels like majority of the Cape Town fashion industry is stylists doing editorial work, lots of editorial work, so much editorial work. The season happens there, advertorial work, all of that stuff. Even established Joburg stylists, often they will get booked for a job that the job is happening in Cape Town, just because that's where that industry is. So editorial work, advertorial work, even film stuff, all happens in Cape Town. So if you're interested in working in that realm and freelancing and assisting people, or if you're interested in working for the Woolworths and the Truworths and the Cape Town. If you're interested in working for some of the fashion brands here, SA Fashion Week happens in Joburg. You dress for SA Fashion Week if you're a student here. That's something you put your hand up for, and all of the teams are here. So internship opportunities will happen. Yeah, so that is what you must consider if you want to learn about what it means to have a brand and have the opportunity to intern for a brand and see what they're up to. When I say all, I don't mean all. It's incredible. There's so much happening in Cape Town. But yes, if you want to learn more about what it means to work for a fashion brand, then it feels like Johannesburg is the space to do so. And it's not something to shy away from or be intimidated about. It just requires, like through some of the stuff I was mentioning in my personal journey of I'm putting on post notifications, I want to see what's happening, I'm going to be persistent, hopefully not too annoying, but just going out and like asking people for the opportunity. You have to ask. Those pounds. I hope this video is helpful. Feels like a lot of yapping. I promise I had a structure, but then I just started talking from a personal space because you're my friend. You're just talking friend to friend and I want to help you. But right now I hope this context is, my personal context is given some insight on what options there are. Everyone wants to be a designer. And one thing I wish that I was a little bit more privy to when I was a student is just the context of what our wool and mohair industries look like and what people in this country are doing with those fibers. And it's something that I feel so grateful to be exposed to now because of the job I have and the work that I do, you know, getting to go to the crew and see what's happening there, or witness the designer I work for create incredible stuff, co-create incredible stuff with everyone in the team and artisans that the brand works for. But I really wish I was more privy to this, and I think Elizabeth Galloway, Design Institute of Fashion, Design Academy of Fashion, are particularly good at it because I'm seeing now from a producer standpoint, because that's mostly what I'm doing when it comes to these exhibitions, is that whenever we include student work, the work comes from Elizabeth Galloway and it comes from Design Academy of Fashion. And it doesn't mean to say that like kids at Fedisa and Stadio aren't producing good work, because they really are, but they're not working with natural fibers. And there was never that encouragement in my degree to work with natural fibers. I really hope it's changed. If you're studying there now, they're like, we just got a mohair brief. Tell me, because that would be amazing. That sounds amazing. And yeah. But Design Academy of Fashion, Elizabeth Galloway, their briefs are tailored to work with natural fibers a lot of the time. They are encouraged through sponsors and through their lecturers to work with wool, to work with mohair. In what way can you present that, right? You think of knitting and crocheting, but you can also felt. Are you only going to felt with wool, or are you going to combine it with something else? But because they're working with natural fibers and there's such an interest in craft, and it's so funny when I used to read WGSN as a student, the trend forecast was always craft and artisanal, craft and artisanal, craft and artisanal, and I only feel now we are actually living it, where more and more people not even in the industry have this interest in craft and artisanal. And it's probably also a retaliation of like how far our digital world is, or people not feeling connected, or AI is scary and all of these things. So it's really nice to like touch something and know that that thing feels good and it was made with hands and intention and love. But even if your lecturers aren't encouraging you to do so because of the school you go to, that's an incredible opportunity to independently explore what fibers you want to work with, what sponsorship you can maybe find, because these suppliers are very interested in having young people interested in these fibers. So even if you maybe can't afford it, what sponsorship can you request? And again, when you get to that 3rd year internship, if your dream is to become a designer and you think of like how much rubbish is being produced and thrown away, then you need to really consider, instead of interning, because I don't think you should swap it out. Get your internship at the brand you want to work for and see how they produce clothes and see how studios run. But also ask an artisan to sit with them in their home for a week and alter them so that you can learn the rules and then break them as a designer and be innovative with traditional techniques and push the envelope. I think that's all I have in me. I wish you all the best with your fashion journey. Bye-bye.